Hi people, welcome to UK Jazz Dance. I want to talk about UK Jazz Dance is an umbrella term for a number of UK underground dance styles, cultures, movements. The dance is collaborative, the dance is virtuoso, the dance is competitive, the dance is communal, the dance is participative. The dance incorporates females and males dancing together. The dance incorporates people having groups, people being in partners, people flying solo as dancers. One of the key things I said, the dance is a subculture dance that came out of the fact we were free, but we were oppressed. And it's in that point I want to talk today. We went to clubs where there was Black Door policy. Black Door policy meant people would say to you, not your night tonight, mate. That means we weren't going to let in. We freely went back to these clubs over and over again till we got in. But partly why we were let in is because of the recessions that was taking place. People numbers weren't coming out, and generally the events that we went to were on days where the clubs didn't have no people in. Do you understand? Major days like a Friday night, generally you wouldn't get in. Saturday night we came to have clubs, but in very rundown venues. History of African diaspora people or underprivileged people, they usually had events in venues where the venue was run down, and people got that. We as individuals, due to the Black Door policy, had events pre the event, during the event, because some people couldn't go to them. So my house, for example, my brother's flat, we had people come to us before the event. We would have music going on. They would stay at our house. Some people didn't have money, so they couldn't go to the club. Then what would happen is we had post events after the event where people come to our house to the early hours of the morning, where we played the music, the eclectic music that we liked. We were at the mercy of Western DJs. Western DJs were watching magazines to how they played music, where we played music from a political context that was in the black community and around the world. There are certain tracks that were recognized around the world, like Ain't No Stopping Us Now. That was the affirmation tracks. He had loads of affirmation tracks. Reggae music was huge. We played that. Reggae music was the soul music of Jamaica. That helped sell soul music, but in the clubs, Western DJs weren't playing reggae music. They were against it. It's important to understand Black Door policy has been around for hundreds of years and it's not changed. And what happened, that change set the framework for how whites saw us in this world, that we can refuse them from a club. So a lot of students came into black music. One of the key things was Black Door policy came huge. Because I came a student, I saw and experienced what happened, and I came from an inner city area. I myself as a student was being refused to go into a club, and I constantly would have to take out my student card, and sometimes even took out the student card, they wouldn't believe that you're a student. So I had to suffer stress of creating my own events because of that. So I stopped going to the student events and created my own events in my own flats. For example, I found a space as a student when I was a student, or spaces to put on my own events that were open up, inclusive for the individuals to have a positive experience, because we were living in an unhealthy culture and unhealthy environment. And that unhealthy environment was Black Door policy, its impact on people. I've been beaten down by bouncers, told me not to come to the club again. I just constantly went there, got beaten down by bouncers, beaten by bouncers for speaking up, for being insulted by bouncers and not allowing that to happen. Then facing harassment and threats because people live close in the community. Especially as a student, I was quite defiant in my vocal range and my vocalization of being ill-treated as a person with Black Door policy. I'm a student. I have a right to come into this place. Not your night tonight, mate. And I got threats from that as an individual. But I did something about it. So one of the things I talk about Black Door policy, how many DJs did not do anything about it? How many DJs put up a campaign to stop Black Door policy? How many people colluded in it? UK Jazz Dance has been around for 45 years and the DJs never had a campaign. It was dancers that opened doors, dancers that trailblazed themselves to clubs, to discos and parties. I'm one of them. I got to be known in various places and I got to know bouncers. So one of the key things was I realised Black Door policy came about. People didn't know people. They had stereotypes about us. The more that they got to know us, the more that they said, oh, we're just the same. You're just the same as us. We have the same, same blood. That same thing, same interests, same feelings as an individual. And I was glad I persisted with that. But Black Door policy is part of why Black Lives Matters is around now. Black females and black males being killed in a certain way. A new generation of students at university, wow, they're running venues and they're having black door policy in them venues. I say so from a student who was in Oxford from '05 to '09. What I experienced there was incredible. I had to go to other cities to go out as an individual, because what happened is black door policy had led to it. You can treat blacks any way that you wanted to. Students were getting drunk, taking drugs, and then when they saw black students, they would target them as individuals to, vent out certain angers, certain feelings about them. Right now you're here, right now in Britain, amazing story. Western students are saying, when did blacks get into house? I said, we created house. But you have to understand what black door policy brings. It brings stereotypes. People don't research black culture when they assume that they created it. Blue K Jazz, that's out. Take it easy.